Hello, my name is Ben.
And my name is Josh.
And welcome back to FPL Graduates. And it is back. Finally, you asked for it and you got it. It's FPL Fridays, baby.
Yeah, it is. I'm buzzing to be back. It's been such a long time since we've actually done an FPL Friday as we've done in past weeks. But yeah, we've got a guest on as always, a different guest. We like to mix things up. It's Kieran. Say hello to everyone. Here he is.
How are you guys? As he's already said, Kieran, not much to it. Known the boys known Josh from way back. Fresh out of the womb.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we went to school together and everything. So we've been FPL in for a good few years together. We're going to get straight into it though. Browno, do you want to bring up your team first?
Wow, we'll go into my team. We'll look at Gameweek 18, a little review.
Yeah.
First of all. So this is the team and how it looked for the blank game week. We got a total of 53 points for the game week, which, you know what? Happy and satisfied with that, boys. Happy and satisfied with that. David De Gea in goal. I said United would keep a clean sheet, and look what they did. Josh doubted him. He doubted him, but he came through and he got a clean sheet. Stones and Reguilon with some good points. Reguilon robbed of a goal. He could have got a goal. You know what I mean? Like that could have been
robbed is harsh. I think he deserved didn't count sort of thing.
He deserved more points than he got, which is a great pick for me. I know. As soon as I found out about that Fulham fixture, had to be straight into the team. Size is the one mistake I made this week. I could have gone and stayed with who I had before, which was Michael Keane, who got 11 points, but Size in 1 point. It's not the end of the world because players around him got some points here and there. Tierney out injured for the week, so Smith Rowe came in, and I was pretty happy about that before the game. But the way Arsenal played, they were pretty boring, and you could see from minute 30 that it would be 0-0. Gundogan, unlucky to be 3 points again. He could have scored 1 or 2 in that game. Could have got an assist or 2. He had a point blank effort saved. It was a great save by Sanchez in goal. Very unlucky not to get more than the 3 points he got. I still think it's a good pick that one for the blank game week. De Bruyne, captain, 12 points. Not the best return, but it's a return nonetheless. And I think key point from this week is to get your captain to return if you're free hitting. He did that and it paid off. Son, didn't return again, but were we expecting him to return against Fulham? He tends to like playing against the bigger teams and teams that rather than teams that sit back. So he didn't quite get the return, but it's one of them ones. We'll move forward. We'll hope he'll be a bit more explosive against Sheffield United. Fernandes, 2-pointer. Disappointed with the output from Fernandes, but I think we got to expect a blank every once in a while from Fernandes. I mean, he is human after all, you know what I mean? Lacazette, it's a similar sort of story with the Smith Rowe. We didn't expect Arsenal to score many goals, but we expected them to score more than the 0 that they did in the blank game week. And Harry Kane, yet again, the same old reliable, coming up with 8 points. Kepa gang, you're mudded, lads. He ended up on the bench. Tierney, of course, on the bench. I had Lascelles and Brewster, but that's not really too much of a concern. 53 points overall. Hey, it's not bad at all. Kieran, what do you think of that from a week?
I mean, obviously I'm speaking to the experts here. I'm seeing things a lot. Bruno, Man United fan myself, another player of the month. I was surprised. Kane, I've recently put him in my team. He's hopefully going to be captain this week. Hopefully going to return. There's a few others. Gundogan, maybe that week, but I don't know about every week if he's going to be, long term. But defense, I got Sars myself. Another, didn't really pay off. But as far as I'm aware, I'm not taking notes, not copying anyone. But
yeah, it wasn't a bad week at all. Now we'll move on to the next team. Josh, I believe you've got yours and potentially Kieran's set up waiting. So
yeah. So I'll crack on into it. Let me just get the screen up. Can you see it? All good?
Yeah, we got it.
Sounds. Yeah, so for me this week, I played the free hit as well. 65 points for me. I think I had like a 600k rank climb, which was absolutely ace. So yeah, I backed the boy De Gea in net, 6-pointer. We absolutely love to see it. Rob Holding, Stones and Reguilon, all my defence return, which was great to see. It's Holding Stones with a 6, Reguilon with an 8, so you got some bonus assist. Bruno 2-pointer. It was disappointing because I felt like, well, you got the pass to the assist for the goal, and also United definitely could have scored more in that game if they took their chances. Son, I didn't think he was going to score, but you had to have him in there just because I knew everyone else would have had him. So he's in there blank. Like Ben covered it pretty much all together. De Bruyne captain, I would take that every day. It's 12 points out of a free hit week. I don't mind, considering there was only about 5 or 6 goals in all the fixtures combined. So I'll take that any day. Foden was the main man this week. 11 points, scored the goal, got the 3 bonus points. He's pretty much what's different this week. We spoke about it on the live stream before game week 18, Gundogan or Foden. I decided to stick with my guns and go with Foden, and that was the right choice in the end. Cavani, although he scored only 2 points, he helped me out massively because I was debating Lacazette or Cavani. They both scored the same amount of points, 2 pointers each, and then it allowed me to upgrade Eric Dyer to regular, and then obviously Eric Dyer would have only got me 2 points, so that was a good move. Kane with 8 points, Mr. Reliable, as Ben said, and then let down Newcastle, Callum Wilson. As soon as I saw Ryan Fraser got a red card, I knew they'd lose that game. A little bit upsetting is Tyreek Mitchell with an 8-pointer on my bench. It's not what you like to see, but I can't really complain as the game week was really good. Ben, would you have said there's any like bad picks in there or anything that you wouldn't have agreed with, say, going into the game week?
Going into the game week, I agreed with everything but one pick, which was Callum Wilson. I proved to be right. Bruce is absolutely furious right now with the players behind Wilson and the attacking output that they have. He was looking for a lot more in that Sheffield United game, I think. So that would have been the only one. And the reason why is not because I didn't think he was going to score. It's because I thought he may or may not have played the full game. He may have come off the bench because there's concern about whether he was going to start or not. So other than that, decent team. You can't really complain about the points total. It was a decent week. Like I said, a good little rank climb. We're moving on to Kieran's team. He's sadly bottom of our little mini league. I'm sorry to do you like that, but Kieran, he took a hit.
There's a lot of
Go on,
changes.
you talk through it.
Look, straight off, as soon as you see a red line, you know, look, this guy don't even play FPL. There's a few stinkers in here. In terms of moving forward, look, that's the reason I'm here. I'm here to get tips from the pros. You know, don't meet your heroes, they say, but here I am. Transfers have been made. I think I've sacrificed 4 points. So overall, you know, I'm playing the long game. But like we say, pennies make the pounds. You know, them. What was it? 20 points. And I'm going to be thinking 2 weeks.
It all adds up. You had Digne, which was actually surprisingly a good, decent little pick. I think a lot of people thought Everton versus Wolves was going to be one of the low-scoring games, but it turned out to be the highest scoring of the week, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, not too bad. But moving on, Ben. Shall we take a look at game week 19 now, the double game week?
I think we should do some other things first, to be honest. So we've had a game week 18.
I know what he's on about now.
It wouldn't be an FPL Fridays without an FPL trivia quiz.
Kieran's
Kieran, let me just get the questions.
I'll get the timer up. Don't you worry.
So,
my hands are sweating now. Two sets.
Boys, we'll go through the rules whilst we're waiting for this. And in case some of you in the chat don't know, because I know a few of you from TikTok might not have watched FPL Fridays before, because it is a big thing on this channel. So, basically, Kieran will have 60 seconds to answer as many questions based on Manchester United and FPL as possible. The aim is to be better than Lewis, who got 2 points, and to try and beat the record. What does the record stand at? Is it 7 points?
7 points, I think, and it was it FPL Don, I do believe, who's live streaming as well at the minute. Yeah,
so FPL Don, the holder. If you're in the comments, feel free to play along in the comments, all right? If I see someone getting the right answer in the comments, quick fire like that before Kieran even says it, I'll be impressed, lads. I'll be impressed. So, Josh.
It's already ready. It's ready. It's right here.
It's ready.
I don't know if I'm ready. How many questions? Is it a lot?
It's just as many as you can answer.
60 seconds to answer.
You can pass them. You can do what you want.
I'll be passing.
I'd hope you wouldn't pass a few, but
Is the answer
we'll get to
pass?
60 seconds. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1, go. Who is the top scorer in the Premier League for Manchester United this season?
Marcus Rashford.
Bruno Fernandes. How
Oh,
much
man.
is Bruno Fernandes on FPL at the time of recording?
11.2.
11.3.
Oh,
How many clean sheets? How many clean sheets do Manchester United have in the Premier League so far this season?
I want to say 8.
5. Out of Manchester United's defence, which player has the most FPL points this season?
5? Nah.
Wan-Bissaka. Only one player has received a red card this season for Manchester United. Who is that player?
I'll hit the pass on that one.
Hit the pass, it's Martial. Which player has received the most yellow cards for Manchester United this season? There are 3 possible answers.
3 possible answers. Oh, I'll say Lindelof.
Pick one. Maguire. What number is United's brand new signing, Ahmad Diallo, going to wear for the club?
Oh, I want to say 38. I know it's in the double digits. I
19.
think.
Oh, that's time.
That's a minute.
No.
He's the worst so far. But in his defence, I do know Kieran. He hasn't actually followed football for too long. So, like,
well, I see the chat getting them right. So if you got them right in the chat,
yeah,
I'm
well done,
taking
chat.
half a point. I'm taking half a point for that. Like 0.1.
Yeah, that Bruno one was.
we'll give you that. I can't believe you said that. Who did you say the top scorer? Rashford.
Oh no, don't. Look, when you're on the spot, when you're in this, you're in grilled.
Yeah.
And we haven't been on the other side of an FPL trivia quiz. We don't know how it feels like.
I mean, technically we have, Glenn, if you're watching. We've had a few questions. I managed to get, was it Pickford's points right or something?
Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah. So we'll look into game week 19 now, and have a little fixture rundown. The fixtures are scrolling along the bottom of the screen now.
There's so many.
There's a lot of fixtures, and it was a lot of typing. I'm not going to lie, lads. So, are there any standout sort of teams that we should be looking at for these fixtures? I mean, some teams have 2 games, some have 1. I mean, there's a lot of good fixtures here, isn't there?
Yeah, there is indeed. Obviously, Everton also have none. So if you've got an Everton asset, that's not ideal. But we move in. I think the best ones to look at if you're looking at an asset or someone to bring in specifically for this game week would be West Ham. They have some great fixtures. We'll talk more about obviously which players later on. Man City, obviously, they have Crystal Palace and Aston Villa, which is 2 really good fixtures. And then you've got to look at United and Liverpool. So although they face each other, they also have 2 decent fixtures with Fulham and Burnley, respectively. So some good games. Kieran, what's the game in FPL or outside FPL? Which one are you looking forward to the most?
Outside FPL, it's got to be Liverpool Man United, 100%.
Huge game, isn't it?
At the top, don't know if there's a watch along, put any plugs there, but Tottenham, again, Kane's just made his 20 team, same for Son. Most likely one of them going to be captain, so I'm crossing fingers. I know Spurs need the win, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because obviously everyone's targeting the double games and obviously stuff like that, but Spurs only have the single game, but arguably they have the best fixture on paper out of the lot. So Ben, what would you say? Like, do you care when it comes to bringing in the double games? Like, is that really that important, or would you say sacrifice it for a single fixture that's that good?
The only reason it would be, well, it is important, is the captain, and that's it for me. So my captain will be a player playing in 2 games this week. I'll mention it in a little while who that exactly is. But when you're looking at your team and who to bring in, do not overlook the teams that are playing 1 game. Son and Kane against Sheffield United away could be a cracking fixture for them because Sheffield United really need a win. Tottenham really need a win. So they're going to go at each other, I think. And it could make for a cracking game, potentially in terms of looking at it from a neutral perspective. And it could result in Son and Kane really popping off. But you could also see it the other way in the fact that it's only 1 chance for them to get points. So easy to look at it both ways. There's a lot of uncertainty with the fixtures. I know Southampton and Leeds potentially with the double game week back on the card. So you never really know, especially these times. I'd say in previous years, having 2 fixtures important, but hey, the Tottenham one is one really you need to look for because it's a cracker. Also, think a lot of people in the comments absolutely spamming West Ham. I agree, lads. I brought in 2 West Ham players this week, and I think they've got, out of all the teams, probably the best 2 teams to play against in this double game week.
Yeah, I totally agree. I brought in a West Ham player too. So, yeah, we'll move on. What's the next one? Captaincy of the week? Is that what we're going to next?
Well, we can look at must-have assets.
Must-have, yeah. Anyway, so we'll talk... Because as we spoke about the teams, we'll speak about the must-have assets. So obviously a lot of people saying his name in the comments already, which is good to see. So both of us, me and Ben, we've both brought in Antonio this week. Obviously a lack of fixtures in the Premier League this season, but he's definitely back to match fitness. Whether he'll play both games is debatable. Hope he does. But yeah, he looks like a good asset, doesn't he, Ben?
Yeah, he looks like a very good asset. I mean, I brought him in last night, and then Josh sent me a tweet saying that David Moyes is a huge fan of this West Ham youngster. So I hope that Antonio plays both games. He'll definitely play a part in both. I imagine he'll start at least one of the games, which will be great. And because they're both really nice fixtures, I think that's one you should be targeting. A lot of people as well have kind of been neglecting bringing in Cresswell. I thought Cresswell was going to be the highest brought in this week out of everyone, because of his attacking returns, his attacking output, but only 170,000 odd people have brought him in. I thought it'd be a lot higher than that. And maybe it's because people already have Kufal or Cresswell and they don't want to double up. I get that. But defensively, this could be a really good double game week for West Ham.
Yeah, it does look good. West Ham are definitely the front runners in terms of fixtures, and also their team looks good too. A lot of people saying, I know Charlie Bradley just said Souček also is better, he said, than Antonio, which is interesting. I don't know whether he's better. I think there's some good midfield options, definitely, like Jarrod Bowen we've mentioned. Obviously, Ben Rama, even he could get a chance up front with obviously the lack of strikers they have now. They've sold Haller. So who else would we say in terms of the must-have assets, Kieran? Is there anyone that you thought, like, obviously you said you brought in the Spurs boys. Is there anyone you think, I need him in my team?
Looking at the scroll, we've got Watkins going along. Wilson is also in my team. I've seen, looking at a few others, I've seen Wilson on the captain, probably going to return. Again, Newcastle, one of them teams that needs the win. Again, foolishly, I don't think I have to count KDB, but it's a risk I'm willing to take, a risk taker.
Yeah, no, carry on.
Well, no, I was just Antonio again. But if you both bring him in, having them different players is gonna, if you both got Antonio, both getting the same amount of points. So
yeah, you're not wrong. A lot of people bringing in Foden as well, which is for me probably one of the most interesting transfers this week, because last 2 game weeks against Chelsea and against Brighton, he's outscored Kevin De Bruyne. So is he the best option? I don't know. I think KDB, just for the reliability of like Pep pretty much never dropping him, touch wood. But Foden is a fantastic option. And right now, I can't really see anyone who's coming in for bench for City. They seem to have, although they have a lot of strength in depth, it doesn't seem to really be there right now, with Aguero having his COVID positive test, and obviously Jesus just not really featuring. That means they don't play over striker. It means there's a lot more room for maneuverability. Obviously Sterling missed a penalty as well, so it's interesting. The cheap City options could be a way into that attack quite easily, couldn't it, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I've got Mahrez at the moment, which is not really. Still got him. I'm not quite prepared to take the -8 to take him out. So I'll give him this double game. I've said this every week. I'll give him.
Mate, you've said it for the past 2 months.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for me. I mean, yeah, I'd say Foden's probably the best way of getting into that City midfield for cheap. De Bruyne, if you don't have him at the moment, like how I'm feeling is he's really difficult to get in at the moment. Like you got to sacrifice one of the big boys. So you got to sacrifice a Kane, a Salah, a Fernandes, a Son, someone like that to bring him in. And if you're not ready to do that because you think potentially there's the same amount of points available in these players, and it's not worth it. And 11.8 now, De Bruyne. He's getting up there to Salah sort of price territory. So difficult to get him in. And I know I said in the last live stream I was going to try and find a way to bring him in. Haven't found that way. So we're rolling with other options in that midfield and hopefully outscoring De Bruyne.
Yeah, I just want to touch on before we move on. Probably like the Leeds Southampton. Obviously, that what we say, that game's been postponed due to the Shrewsbury fixture. So it might be on, it might not be on. It's not confirmed yet. We will update you on one of our, well, pretty much all of our social media platforms. So make sure you check us out on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But yeah, both of those teams, I know a lot of people own a lot of those players, like from to defense. I have Bamford, you have Dallas. So that's also interesting because they both have some decent games too, don't they?
Yeah, both have decent fixtures, and it'll probably be a lot of the FPL community were talking about it after the deadline when it's confirmed whether this game will go ahead. So it is crazy. We'll move on to that should say Game Week 19. So we'll change that real quick.
But yeah, the Game Week 19 captain pick.
I'll tell you what we'll do for this. For me, I will show my team and show my captain for this week. It's an interesting one. A couple of people guessing in the comments, but I haven't actually seen people in the comments get it right. A lot of people saying Antonio, but my team is going to be this for the upcoming game week. Now, as you can see, Salah is going to be my captain this week. Josh said, Salah, really? As if like, what are you doing, Ben? But
it's when they lose 3-0 to United at Anfield. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying we all know what happened last season when Salah at Anfield at home to Man United. I believe he scored, didn't he?
He did indeed.
I've got McCarthy in goal. He is the set and forget keeper. Obviously, I have Forster on the bench in case McCarthy contracts COVID because, I'm a master planner and it's all up here, you know what I mean? Cresswell brought in this week on a -4. I took out Keane because he is not playing this game week. I brought him in. He got benched for the first time in the whole season. He played every single minute of every single game and then got benched by the time I brought him in. Target, I think City will struggle to break down this Villa team. We've seen how well that defensively they are. And going forward, obviously, they've beaten Arsenal 3-0. They've really played well against teams, beating Liverpool 7-2. Like, they've got good going forward. And they're relatively good defensively. So I'm happy with him there. And especially at Newcastle at home. Could be a cracking fixture for them. James Justin, I'm not sure he's going to get too many points. I'm hoping kind of for a 6-pointer from him out of those 2 games, Southampton and Chelsea. I think both those games could go either way. Dallas at home to Brighton is a really tasty looking fixture from a Leeds sort of ownership perspective. Hoping Dallas gets an attacking return there. Salah captain, I've gone for him over Bruno Fernandes because Bruno Fernandes is 1 yellow card away from suspension. And if he gets that against Liverpool, that's really not ideal. So I don't want to risk that. I put Salah as my captain, Bruno as my vice. Son's in there. I think he can, like I said, he can do something against Sheffield United. Mara's in there. Don't really want to talk about him right now. It's just difficult to get him out at the moment because I've got other things I want to do. So he's going to have to stay in for now. And up front, Antonio and Harry Kane. Antonio is that punt, which I hope will pay off. And a lot of people are hoping on that. And if he does score in that first game, it will relieve the tension a little bit. I can't see the first game being high scoring against Burnley, but against West Brom, I feel like they can really get on and get something going forwards. On the bench, I've gone Walker-Peters. Leicester away is not the greatest of fixtures. If potentially the game does get rescheduled, the Leeds one, I might think about it differently. But for now, I'm happy with Walker-Peters. Anguissa on the bench and Brewster. I mean, they've been on there for ages, so I'm not too worried about them. Kieran, what do you make of my team? Are there improvements that can be made?
Improvements? No. Someone to comment. The Salah comment. Also, being a Man United fan, I'm not gonna let that stand. 2-on-1. Me and Josh, Man United fans, die hard. Wait till I die. I know.
Die hard when you got 0 in the quiz.
Yeah, we won't talk about the quiz results then.
Antonio, unfortunately, I'm on the Bamford bandwagon. I am staying true to him. I think it's probably going to pay off a bit more again. I like that set and forget. I've definitely got a lot of them players on my team. But no, improvement-wise, I'm pretty happy with it. We'll see what Josh got to offer. But
Josh, have you got your captain pick in your team?
Yeah, I can get. Do you want to go through Kieran's first? Because I feel like I'm gonna blow a few people out of the water with mine. So if Kieran, who are you gonna go captain this week, and what transfers did you make? We obviously can't get up on screen, but
yeah, I will the team up. I don't know if you remember the old team. The stinker 20 points. I'm running the 3-4-3. In terms of captain, I'm stuck between either Wilson or Kane. I'm not sure who I want to go with. Son's not really in my mind. I'm thinking maybe I'm hoping Kane sitting up top. I'm going to bang a few. Fernandez on the Vice. I've joined that bandwagon. But in terms of captain, not too sure. Again, I'm probably in an hour and I might see. Obviously, I've got the deadline coming up. Decisions got to be made. But
yeah. That sounds good. I think Kane is definitely an interesting captain choice. I think quite a low captain choice because he doesn't have 2 games. But I think, especially with United facing Liverpool, I don't see that being very high scoring at all. I think he maybe could be just as good as Salah and Bruno this week. But yeah, moving on to my captaincy pick. Let me go ahead and share the screen. 2 seconds. Here we go. Yeah, so that's Kieran's team, not mine. I promise. But yeah, here we go. We're going into it. As you can see, Kevin De Bruyne is my captain. He's my triple captain. I'm doing it, boys. I'm gonna
Sirens
do it.
Going off.
Yeah, two chips in a week, which is kind of mental to be honest. But I think I've had a look. I've been on Ben Krellin's Twitter, and if you don't know who he is, you need to check him out. He knows everything about fixtures, rescheduling, the lot. He's class at FPL. I've been on his Twitter. I've been looking through, and I just don't see many double game week fixtures that have the same sort of juice as Crystal Palace at home and Aston Villa at home for Manchester City. I know there's been a lot of fixtures. There is chance of rotation. There are a lot of risks, but there are a lot of rewards as well. De Bruyne has had loads of chances. His underlying stats are ridiculous. He's still been returning. We saw obviously the 13-pointer against Chelsea. He returned against Brighton. They probably could have scored a lot more in that game. And that's one of the things that obviously turns me away. But I think for now, I'm just going to go for it. Like that's what I've been doing with my captaincy choices for like the last 5 weeks since I've been getting a few green arrows. I've just been going, who's the best player against the worst teams? And De Bruyne is by far facing the worst teams, and he's the best player out of the lot, in my opinion. So he is the main man this week. A lot is riding on that. We'll see if it can beat Ben's triple captaincy haul of 3 points last season. Hopefully it does, touch wood. But yeah, so in goal, as Ben says, set and forget McCarthy. Obviously, I didn't play with a keeper last time I had him in there because he did get COVID, but hopefully he's back, and I think he is back and he's fit and ready to go. Leicester away. I'm not transferring in a double game week keeper for the sake of it. I think that's just a waste of points, to be honest. Justin, like Ben said, I don't know if he'll score too many points, but you can have him there for the attacking returns. I know Jamie Vardy will probably. He's one of the assets that I really regret not owning this week. So he hopefully can get an assist or maybe even a goal off him. Cresswell, I've had him in for a good few weeks now. He's West Ham's best player, FPL-wise especially, without a doubt. He's on set pieces, free kicks, you name it. He's got a deadly delivery. And we see when he gets the assist to Souček's goals, you reap the rewards. John Stones at the back, Ruben Diaz's partner. I don't see City changing their defence much, even though they've got 2 fixtures within a week. Their defence is so solid that I don't think Pep will change it. Everyone knows the key to success is keeping it simple, and that's what he'll do, in my opinion. Bruno Fernandes, Liverpool away and Fulham away. Obviously, big risk him being on 4 yellow cards and entering probably one of the most ferocious games of the season. I could definitely see him getting booked in that game. But let's hope he doesn't, and hopefully he does get that Fulham away fixture, because 2 away games for Bruno Fernandes, you'd be loving that. So he's always good away. He's only blanked twice this season away from home. Obviously, Burnley just gone and Sheffield United. So hopefully he can do a little bit better. Son, whether he'll return again or not, I can see why he's being transferred out. Sheffield United away, they'll sit quite low. Son doesn't tend to score against low block teams. He might get the odd assist, and that's what I'm hoping for. But out of the 2, I'd definitely prefer to own Kane this week. Like I mentioned, De Bruyne, I don't think I need to touch on him anymore. Salah is the vice captain, so if De Bruyne just, I don't know, disappears, he'll be the one taking over the triple captaincy armband. I think he's a good option, but I don't think he's the best option this week. And I think maybe I think just any Man City attacker is going to be outscore the Liverpool and United boys just because of that United versus Liverpool game. I think it's going to be quite cagey. I can't see there being many goals in it. El Ghazi, obviously Man City away is not the best fixture, but that Newcastle at home fixture is looking really good. He's definitely the best Aston Villa asset to own, in my opinion. He's a lot cheaper than Grealish. He's better than Watkins. He's on penalties. He's on set pieces. And hopefully he'll be able to do some damage for me. Patrick Bamford, hopefully he gets a double game week. I think if he does, you can see a high score from Patrick Bamford, and Leeds in general. I think they're going to be coming out the blocks fighting, and Brighton at home anyway is a fantastic fixture. And like I said, I took out Giroud this week and I brought in Antonio. Burnley at home, West Brom at home. You can't complain with those fixtures indeed. On the bench, we've got Rob Holding home to Newcastle. Very nice fixture. But just because he hasn't got a double, he's on the bench. Same with Bednarek as well, Leicester away. I'm just not really feeling the defensive capability of Southampton, although we've seen in the past they have been superb and never let me bend down. But yeah, the big news this week, Josh is hitting the triple captainship and we're going KDB, baby.
Yeah, I mean, you must have hit that triple captaincy chip whilst we've been on stream, because you said you didn't have it done before the stream, so yeah, that's crazy. We'll move on to differential of the week, and then we'll get into some questions and stuff like that. So if you do have any questions, get them in now, and I'll look at them after we go into differential pick of the week. Now, Kieran, do you have a sort of differential option, someone outside the box that you think not many people are gonna have thought of?
Let's wheel up the team. Let's have a look. In terms of difference, not really. I'm kind of a bit of a sheep, follow the crowd, you know. In terms of representing different teams, I've got Grealish from Villa, Zaha from Palace. There's not too much difference going on here. Whether you want to throw some suggestions at me, I'll hit the old yes or no. But no, I'm a bit of a sheep. I thought, you know, a player I know.
You don't like taking a risk. I can respect that. Who are you going for this week, Ben?
In terms of a differential option, I mean, it's crazy to say that he is still differential. I imagine he won't be differential in a well soon. Is Michel Antonio at 6% owned? I mean, he's been brought in by a lot of people, 274,000 from this week alone. So he's still differential, but that is probably the best differential choice to have. I imagine that someone like Kufal could be a great differential option to go for, and then maybe even someone like John Stones is a good option. I'm not sure how highly owned he is currently.
He's 8.7, so pretty differential.
Pretty differential. So I'd say those three are probably some good little outside options to go for.
Yeah, for me, other than the obvious Antonio, I think he's the number one this week. I imagine Jarrod Bowen's probably under 10% too. He's definitely a good shout. For me, though, in my team, it's going to be Anwar El Ghazi. I've mentioned him obviously going through my team. City at home, not the best fixture. City away, sorry, not the best fixture. But a penalty, you know what Jack Grealish is like. He wins fouls constantly. El Ghazi's taking it, sort of thing, you know. And then Newcastle at home at Villa Park, they would have been more fit than what they are already. Obviously, they have their COVID. A lot of them tested positive. No one knows who did, but hopefully their team's a lot fitter and raring to go, because I see that Newcastle home game. I reckon Villa could probably run right in it. So El Ghazi, I think he's 4% owned, and I think he's such a better option than Grealish and Watkins. I know a lot of people bringing in Watkins this week, but I think El Ghazi's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, El Ghazi is one of them ones which I feel like I'm probably going to get punished this week for not owning him. But because he's so low owned, I think we'll be all right for this week. But going forwards, I can imagine his ownership will rocket up. Like we've been saying, a few weeks now, we've been saying that his percentage ownership is really low for the price and the points that he's getting. It's
just because the blank game week, obviously Villa weren't playing. They've had COVID positive tests. So I can understand why people aren't really jumping on it. But I brought him in for the United games anyway, so I already had him before the COVID outbreak. But yeah, should we crack on into some questions? I know a lot of people have a lot of questions. Yeah. Everyone's flooding the Instagram DM, so we can maybe answer a few here ahead of it.
Yeah, so Nikan says, is Salah and Watkins for Son and Martial worth a -8, or is it not worth it? Who would like to answer that one?
I'll go for it because I think he's in the DMs on Insta that I've been answering, and he's asked me this a few times. He already has Antonio, by the way, just for reference. I've said I reckon it might be just because the Salah double game week over Son. I can't really see Son returning too heavily, and I definitely can't see Martial returning against Liverpool. I just think he's just not playing the best. If he starts up front on his own, it's not his best position. He's much more than I think Watkins. Although I've said El Ghazi's the best option, I think Watkins is also a very good option in Salah, like I said, with the double game week. Kieran, which one would you two, if you just had to straight up pick, gun to your head, who are you picking, Salah, Watkins, or Son, Martial?
Gun to my head, you know, it's got to be Salah and Watkins. Oh, for -8, Grant, you know, you got to think long term. Son's only going to play the one game, so that's probably where the points are going to sit, even if he does nothing. So in terms of, you know, -8 for getting out of players playing one game for players playing two, it's probably worth it, I'll say.
Yeah, I think Salah, Watkins would be the overall majority. Thinking of using my wild card, how should I think? Long term, don't think just double game week. Would you agree, Ben?
Definitely. I think you should have a couple of players that have great fixtures. But I think even if you're thinking long term, the players that you're going to bring in, 2 or 3 of them are going to have unbelievable fixtures anyway. So they're bringing in one West Ham player would be ideal, one Leeds player ideal, one from each of the big teams is probably the way you've got to go. Have a United player. Fernandes has to be in there. A Tottenham boy has to be in there. De Bruyne probably has to be in there if you can fit in with Salah. That's the way I'd go about it. Make sure you look at teams who are in good form and not conceding goals, because if they're keeping it tight at the back, they're going to be scoring goals going forward as well.
Yeah. Just to butt in. What I like doing when doing a wild card, I'll look at people who are doing better than me. So usually it's Ben. I'll check out his team, see what players he has in check out like the top 10k players. You can find a lot of people on Twitter that are doing very well. I'll check out their teams, because the chances are if you have a similar team to them, you'll do pretty much just as well as them. So make sure you do your research before you wildcard, because it's not worth just hitting the button for the sake of it.
Yeah, so Ice Cool has said, what's going to be the rough average for game week 19? Kieran, what do you think the average points is going to be this week for everyone in this game week, thinking that some teams have 2 games?
Average on the doubles, if you're dropping bombs like triple captains like Scotty over here, we're going to be hitting high double digits. I'll say maybe over the 60 mark, I'll say, if we're being strong.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I reckon 60 to 70 average is probably where you're looking at where it's going to be. I don't know about you, Ben.
We're going to think positive. We're going to think high. And we're going to say all the boys are going to eat well, and we're all going to get 80 points average. 80
points, that would be mental. If I could get over 100 points, I'll be buzzing this week. I've never had that yet on FPL, so I'll be absolutely loving it.
So Jackson says, who to start, Neto or Stuart Dallas? I know who I'd start, and I'll say Dallas.
I know who you'd start, yeah.
Dallas.
For me, it's not as easy as that, I don't think, because I think I like playing the attacking player over the defender, just because I don't know. I just feel like you can benefit more. I lost out when not playing Diangana at the start of this season. So I don't know. I think there's quite a lot of rumours of Neto not being fit, though. So you might want to check the press conferences, see if anything's been said about him. For me, though, I think I would choose Dallas in that situation.
Next one is from Glenn. Streaming same time with me. I hate it here. What have I missed? And he also said best FPL show in the world. Thank you for the support. So to sum it up,
he's missed a lot.
He has missed a lot, and we mentioned him a couple of times as well. What was it that we said?
Probably something to do with Arsenal. That's the usual slander.
I think there was a comment. It said you said something about we haven't been in this situation of the FPL trivia quiz, and I said, hang on, yes we have. Glenn's tested us.
Yeah, that's it.
He gives us ridiculous questions is what he does. Yeah, not too much. There's a couple more questions coming in now. Here's one for you, Josh.
Double West Ham defence. Cresswell definitely. Whether I double, I don't think I think you could. I don't think you'll lose much by it. I don't see West Ham conceding many goals, especially when they have Burnley. Burnley don't score a lot. The way they play is very negative, so we won't see a lot of goals there. West Brom, I reckon West Brom could score 1 or 2, but I feel like if you have Cresswell and Kufal, I reckon that's equally as good. Would I take a hit for it? Definitely not. I think you've got to do it on like a free transfer. I don't know about you.
I think don't force getting in these West Ham defenders. I think having one's fine. And then you can just leave it at that, whether that be Kufal, Cresswell, Okubona, whoever that may be. Don't try and shoehorn a player in for this week just because you can. I think it's the key sort of, recommendation I can go for. I don't know how you feel, Kieran. Would you say a double West Ham defence is essential this week?
Again, you don't want to get drunk on an idea thinking, it's the, cause you're only going to be shooting yourself. If it don't pay off, it's a regret to be had there. It could pay off, that 1 in whatever chance, It's only got to go wrong, and then you're paying for it for weeks on end.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll answer as many questions as we can. We'll finish it soon. Also, triple captain in KDB. We love to see it. Triple KDB army. How many points are we hoping from him? Considering the triple captain, if he gets 30 plus, I'll be happy. So that'll be 10 points out of both games. I think that's very manageable. Like I said, I'm not expecting like 100, like a 50, 60 point haul. Like that's not why I'm triple captaining him. I just think they're both good fixtures. I think he can return in both pretty comfortably. So I think we'll see him probably get 30 plus. I'll be quite satisfied with. Anything above that, I won't be too upset.
Yeah, I think he's going to get like an assist in each game. So I think he'll get 6 points in each game, 12, and then that'll be what?
30, 36.
Yeah.
Quick maths.
Yeah. Too risky to get in Areola. Only keep her on forward with a double game week. I'll tell you straight up, Glenn. Don't force players in who have 2 fixtures because those 2 fixtures may not necessarily be as good as another team with potentially 1 fixture on its own.
Indeed. Areola faces Chelsea and Man United. So obviously 2 not great fixtures. Saying that though, Fulham defend very well against the big teams in recent times. We saw them obviously draw 1-1 with Spurs. They look like the better team, to be honest, in that game. Obviously Chelsea have been struggling. So I could see them probably doing the same there. And United always struggle to break down teams. So I've been looking at him myself this week. I'm not even going to lie. I was thinking of maybe taking a hit for Ryan because I weren't sure if McCarthy was in. But if you do have a keeper that's playing the 1 game, I would strongly suggest just keeping him because I don't think this week especially is the best week to bring him in when they face Chelsea and United.
Right, we'll take a couple more questions, I think. Let's have a look. A crazy West Brom fan called James is asking the question whether he should captain Fernandes or Foden. Kieran, what do you make of that?
Or is it Foden even considered? I've seen people putting Foden too much in the bracket. I've seen he needs to be out of the Greenwood bracket and being compared to the likes of Sancho and Fati. Overrated. Fernandes all the way. Another player of the month on the way. I thought Fernandes got as many player of the month as Paul Scholes did in his whole life. What's that say about the man? Captain Fernandes, 100%.
Bruno Fernandes got as many Premier League player of the month and has Premier League goals as well. Would you believe that?
More stats for you. Look, Statman Scott. Here we go. Fernandes for me. I'm putting my hand up for Fernandes.
This went 0 to 100 real quick in the stream. I'd have to agree. I think Fernandes is probably the better captaincy option, but Foden's a great player. So.
I'd go Bruno, but Foden is a very good option. I just don't think he's a captaincy option, just because I think rotation-wise, we still sort of lack the judgment from Pep.
Very funny, Glenn. I like that question.
I am, Glenn. I went through to the next round.
Is Glenn still in the cup? Because he didn't have many players playing in the last week.
Yeah, you need to put in the comments, Glenn. Let us know.
Very, very intrigued. Do we use boosters this week? So effectively chips, isn't it? I think is what he's on about. Is that recommended this week?
It all depends on your individual scenario. Like for me, I've got Kevin De Bruyne, and I've thought about it long and hard, and I thought yes, like he was going to be my captain anyway, without a doubt. I don't think there's anyone as good. So, but But yeah, bench boost, a lot of people are talking about because obviously it's a double game week. You can score twice from it. You just need to have a strong bench. It's not up to if it is the best week. You just need to have players that you believe will return. That's all. That's what a bench boost is about. I don't know about you, Ben. What would you do? Still free hit if they have it?
If they have it, free hit's probably a good option to go for. But yeah, I'd say this week it's not necessary for you to hit a chip now. I think if you've got De Bruyne, it's definitely considered to do a triple captain. To be honest, we've got that's a full team there. I'm going to go to the end of it and say captaining Rashford for differential. He never blanks away. What do we make of Rashford?
He's not wrong, to be fair. Kieran, do you want to say your opinion on that? Because I know Rashford's been sneaking a little bit with Bruno Fernandes, obviously performing very well away from home. But I think if he's not scored the same, or he might have even scored more points away from home than Bruno Fernandes this season.
Again, about the differentials. If you're picking different teammates, especially if you want to, if you got the boost you want to put on him, double week, double the chances. Too many similar players keep popping up in terms of Antonios and all these malarks. If you got to take the chance, trust in him, off the pitch, hero, on the pitch, start.
Yeah, he loves the game against Liverpool as well. I always remember him just absolutely slicing up Trent Alexander-Arnold. So
right.
we'll see what happens.
We'll take one last question for the live stream, for the video. It's been a long one. Charlie says, yo, lads, if you could start 2 out of Holding, Eric Dyer and Neto, who would you choose? Up the ding. Oh, wow. Didn't see that at the end. Wow. Wow. Unreal. Great support. What a great team to be supporting. But Kieran's gone.
Bless him. Anyway, we'll carry on without him. I'm sure he might join back or something. For me, like I said with Neto, you need to check the press conference. I'd probably go with Holding and Dyer. I don't know about you, Ben.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I think Neto is one of them where a lot of people are asking the question, is he going to play, is he not? Don't take the risk then if you don't think he's going to play, or you think he's going to play limited minutes. I think it's a game this year, especially, of certainty of who's going to play. And I think Holding and Dyer are certain to be playing in their game. So I think you just have to go for them too. And if it's only one of them, Eric Dyer, I'd say out of all of them 3.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this week, doesn't it? Sorry we can answer all your questions. I know there's loads of DMs on the Instagram. We'll get around to replying to them as quick as we can. Obviously, I know a lot of people want advice before the deadline tomorrow. We will give it to you. Don't you worry. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, I know a lot of people haven't because our Instagram's quite low. Go follow us on Instagram. We give advice out and everything. We've only just opened it, so drop it a follow and you'll see all the latest news over there as well.
Yeah, if we haven't answered your question, Instagram, Twitter, we'll answer them all on there, really. So yeah, if you've got any questions that we haven't answered tonight on the stream, give us a message wherever, and we'll get around to answering them. Make sure you like this video, comment, share, subscribe, notifications on, all that good stuff. Yeah, I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you guys later.
Later. Have a good game week, guys.